Welcome to part 19 of my full commentary on Westwood's 1997 game Blade Runner. This is Jack Everett. And in this episode I'm basically going to be going over some aspects of the game that we never saw in any of my previous playthroughs, and as you see here I have a bunch of save games prepared with the stuff I want to show you. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is this roof scene here, because I briefly mentioned it in my main playthrough, but I wanted to talk about it, just how awesome it is. Like, we've got light shining through this fan here, but why on earth is this fan here on top of this roof? It makes no sense. And also, why is this spotlight here? Is it a bat signal or what? No, actually the spotlight here makes sense. I mean, it's probably to help you to know where to land your spinner and stuff. But the other thing I wanted to talk about this roof is there is no roof where spinners land in the movie except for the police station. But in the book, Deckard's apartment also has its parking on the roof, but that's not the only thing. The roof is also where people kept their animals. And so I like to think that maybe whatever the heck this thing is over here is where they store animals, where people keep their various animals. And like, there seems to be a walkway or something right over here, and I like to think that that is where Rachel threw Deckard's goat off the roof in the book. Okay, so anyway, that's what I think about that roof there. Okay, so the next thing is I wanted to show you this. This happens when you talk to Bullet Bob, but you haven't really collected any evidence, and he'll just get mad at you.
You want to make it as a Blade Runner? You ought to do your own investigation.
Yeah, so if you talk to him, he'll just get upset that you're trying to get a bunch of information out of him. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you is in the Ezo situation. I never showed this, I only mentioned it. But if you try to leave Hawker's circle after Ezo makes a run for it, Ezo will just come up behind you and slice you down with a sword. And there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. He just kills you, and that is it. The other thing is, in Miraji, I forgot to show you this.
Who did this?
Help me, sir. Please, help me. It is going to blow.
I did show you the door, but you can also click on the bomb.
Wait, maybe I can disarm it.
No! There is no time. And he said, if you touch it...
Yeah, so if you try to disarm the bomb, you're dead. So that's just kind of funny. Okay, so with Gordo, and I gotta make sure I'm in user choice, sometimes this dialogue option comes up that I'm about to show you.
Do what you gotta do, McCoy. If you gotta shoot, that's cool.
This is Gordo just as a human being.
Come on, McCoy. Why don't you make me famous?
Get off it. You're no replicant.
How do you know? I could be a martyr for the cause, baby.
Every rep I've ever seen wants to live, not die, pal.
What are you, an expert?
I've been around. Okay, so if we let him go, we're going to hear a slightly different conversation than we heard before.
I should haul you downtown, but that'd probably just make you happy.
You're not even going to arrest me?
Instead, I'm going to let you go. But here's what you're going to do. You're going to go tell your pal Clovis that I'm looking for him.
I can't guarantee that he's going to listen to me. He's got a mind of his own, which is the mark of a true star, the kind that lights up the sky once in a generation.
If Crystal Steel tracks him down, he's going to have to light up the sky from 6 feet under.
Very funny.
Yeah, McCoy is a funny guy. So yeah, I don't know what exactly triggers that particular conversation, because I have no idea what I did in this particular save game. Like I said, I played this game like 9 times just to get various things to show up. So I think maybe if you let Zubin live, it helps trigger that. But other than that, like, you just got to be nice to all the replicants and the rep sympathizers.
Good God! Your old fogey stuff makes me want to spew. Excuse me, but I was listening to music. Geek, hoodlum, dork, freak.
There is someone at the door.
Speak.
I have a return package for Mr. Luther Lance.
A return? From where?
Emil Runsiter.
Maybe one of the chimps blew a gasket and tried to bugger him.
They're not available. Come back later. I told you those strains were unstable. Runsiter must have discovered the fakes.
Relax. Runsiter's a simp. Not even old man Tyrell could have spotted those beauties.
20th century like a real drug man.
Who the
Listen here.
piss do you
tell
think
Mr.
you are,
Runsiter that we
blasting
have a
in here
strict
like a couple
no
of
return
goddamn
policy.
cowboys?
Gentlemen, take a moment to evaluate your situation.
Look, there's very little to steal here. If you can haul out one of the statues, be our guest.
We look like thieves to you, man?
No.
You look like a couple of goddamn...
Take a good, long look.
Aha! Just the people we were hoping to see, right, Lance?
Huh?
Nexus 6. And you came to us.
Return to you, my brothers, to ask your help.
Unfortunately, we don't work for the Tyrell Corporation anymore.
You've been continuing your research, I trust.
Yeah, of course.
Something drives us on.
The common bond. Can you have greater miracles than these? Brothers, my brothers, take a good, long look.
Oh my God.
Well now, shall we begin?
You wake up one day...
Alright, so there's like a few things I want to say about that video. We got some cop shooting at me. Dang. Alright, so there is a couple things that I want to say about that video right there. Number one, Luther and Lance imply through the conversation that they sold animals to Runsiter, but Runsiter didn't know that they were fake animals. But as we've played throughout the game, Runsiter knows they're fake animals. McCoy knows they're fake animals. Everyone knows they're fake animals. Even Lucy knows that some of the animals are fake. So I have no idea why they said that in that conversation there. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is going to be the same video, but I'll show you something right before it, just because this is kind of interesting. This is obviously a different playthrough because the third act is Dectora instead of Lucy. And if we shoot at Dectora and then just do nothing, I'd never showed you what happens if Dectora kills you. She just falls down on McCoy like that. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to show that because it's like, yeah, I didn't really show a lot of the places where McCoy can die, so I wanted to show that just so you know that he can get killed there. Alright, so this time we're actually going to see a different version of this video. And we can actually skip to the part where Clovis says the common bond.
The common bond. Can you have greater miracles than these? Brothers, my brothers, take a good, long look.
Oh my God.
Well now, shall we begin?
So in that version of the video, Clovis hands them a photo, which would be their incept photo, or something like that, to prove that they're replicants. Whereas in the other version of the video that we saw, he didn't show them anything. He just had them look at each other and they realized. Now, in one guide that I have, I think the Brady Games official strategy guide, it says if Clovis hands them the photo, they're replicants, and if not, they're not replicants. So they also are randomly replicants or not. At least that's what that guide said. But I don't think that's really the case. They are always replicants. And I think it just randomly shows one of the two videos so that it can play with your memory. Because the twins themselves are the guys that say, If you can't trust your own memories, what's left that makes you human? Okay, so I have the save games here. Here's the twins where they never got a photo. And let's just make sure we're in regular conversation mode. And we'll ask about the replicants.
The reps that killed Marcus and Miraji, they'll be looking for you.
You're a little late, Detective. They've already found us.
So why are you still walking around?
'Cause we're all part of the same suit of cards, you know what I mean? Eldon makes mistakes just like any other human. The difference is the old bastard doesn't like to admit it. No, he covers them up, pretends they're human, gives them a job at a stinking corporation, and then when they actually produce original work, he boots them out on the street.
You're saying you're replicants?
We finally figured it out. Clovis helped us see the light.
But that's ridiculous. Tyrell wouldn't design something like you. He wants perfection.
I told you we were a mistake.
Keep talking.
Sometimes our memories are different from each other's. The implant process isn't perfect. We know, we've seen the studies. You can't always be sure exactly how the memories will play out in the subject's mind. We've got different recollections of our childhood. Explain that.
Maybe one of you just forgot.
If you can't trust your own memories, what's left that makes you human?
Okay, and so now I'm going to load a save game where we're with the twins, and he did hand them the photo.
The reps that killed Marcus and Miraji, they'll be looking for you.
You're a little late, Detective. They've already found us.
So why are you still walking around?
'Cause we're all part of the same suit of cards, you know what I mean? Eldon makes mistakes just like any other human. The difference is the old bastard doesn't like to admit it. No, he covers them up, pretends they're human, gives them a job at a stinking corporation, and then when they actually produce original work, he boots them out on the street.
You're saying you're replicants?
We finally figured it out. Clovis helped us see the light.
But that's ridiculous. Tyrell wouldn't design something like you. He wants perfection.
I told you we were a mistake.
Keep talking.
Clovis showed us our incept photos.
So what?
That's a pretty damn good argument, you gotta admit.
Photos can be doctored. It's not proof.
Clovis said you'd say that.
So you see, the only difference there is in one, they said they couldn't trust their own memories, and in the other one, Clovis showed them the photos. But in both, they basically said that they knew that they were replicants. So I think internally, the no photo one the characters might be flagged in the code as not being replicants, but I think they're replicants no matter what, and it's just the dialogue's different so that you get a bit of different flavor each time you play it, and so that you can't trust your own memories. But that's it. That's the only difference between those two. They're pretty much replicants no matter what. And so let's move on. Okay, so picking up where we actually left off. Okay, so to get to this situation, I'm in Act 4 right now, doing the follow-up on the ammo here and stuff. But in this playthrough, I never chased Izo through here, so I never looked at these weapons to begin with, and we're going to hear a slightly different dialogue.
Someone had really torn the place up. I didn't think it was the LPD, since they would have confiscated all the firepower, but there was no way to tell what was missing without Izo standing here checking his inventory.
Okay, so in one of the comments on this video series, someone said that they thought that this was a bug in a situation where you let Izo live and he was a replicant, and that McCoy was saying that, oh, he couldn't check the inventory because Izo was standing there and he didn't want Izo to watch him rummaging around or whatever. But I don't think that's what it is. I think that this is not a bug. I think what McCoy is actually saying is that McCoy has never looked at this inventory before, so he doesn't know if anything's missing or not, and Izo is not there to tell him if anything is missing or not. So I think that's what's going on with that line of dialogue. But this is something I never saw before doing this series, and so I really want to thank the commenter that pointed that out for helping me to know that this was a possibility to get this line of dialogue. I mean, it's not a particularly interesting line of dialogue, but it is interesting that the designers of the game covered their bases there.
Someone had really torn the place up. I didn't think it was the LPD, since they would have confiscated all the firepower. But there was no way to tell what was missing without Izzo standing here checking his inventory.
So, here we are at the end of the game, and some of the evidence is actually kind of interesting. If we look at the briefcase that you pick up from Guza, McCoy has some stuff to say about it.
That everything I need to clear me?
I gotta tell you, kid, those inset photos look pretty real. Otherwise, it wouldn't have bothered.
Okay, so you get that line from there. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is that the phone call from Clovis in your Kaya is actually different from the phone call that Clovis gives you if he just calls.
It's a passage to freedom, McCoy. To your destiny, an underground railroad to carry you from bondage.
Oh yeah, the other piece of evidence that I wanted to show you that someone pointed out in the comments but I failed to show is if you look at the sushi menu under your clues database, McCoy has some interesting stuff to say about it.
Howie Lee's. Bryant once got food poisoning there, so he shut it down for a couple of months. Now it was always good for a freebie.
So there's just an interesting line of dialogue. It's like, always look through your clues, because sometimes they say some interesting things. Alright, and here's the Clovis message. I don't think we ever heard this one.
I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath. My wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told my wrath. My wrath did grow.
Crank calls were a dime a dozen in this city, and I'd had my share. Still, this guy sounded more like an English teacher than the average scumbag. If I'd been more awake, the message might have spooked me. Erase and reset.
Okay, so the next one we're going to need to be in designer choice mode. So I never showed you what happened if you just ask Crystal about her case. Or, I can't remember which one it is.
Lagging behind again?
Guza didn't say anything about me working with a partner.
Oh, in a pig's ass, Slim. No, I'm following up on my own. Could be it's linked to this Tyrell debacle.
Alright, so if you ask her about the murder, she won't say anything interesting.
You take a look at this crime scene?
Yeah, it's a real doozy, Slim. Worse than watching Guza eat. Make sure you skip a meal before you go up.
It's just kind of a funny line. A doozy. It's worse than watching Guza eat. But it doesn't add anything to the story. And then the other thing I wanted to show you about that save game was the other option we didn't hear before. Crystal will have different stuff to say depending on whether or not Sadiq is a replicant. And so in this playthrough, Sadiq is different from what he was in the main playthrough. So if we ask her about her case, she'll have some different stuff to say.
How's yours connected to mine?
I'm still fitting the pieces together. You know the Moonbus massacre that went down last month?
Gaff mentioned something about it.
The rogue skin jobs probably flew to Earth. And one of them is a demolitions expert, similar MO to your Vic upstairs.
Hell of a coincidence.
I'll call you if I find out anything more about your case.
Okay, so if Sadiq's a replicant, Crystal says that instead of what we heard in the main playthrough. And so that's just another clue that Sadiq's a replicant. If Sadiq happens to be a replicant in your playthrough. Alright, and then here's a different line we've never heard from Crazy Legs before, I think. I'm actually not sure what this save game is.
How about this girl? She look familiar?
You kidding? She ain't old enough to drive.
You've never seen her?
She looks kind of familiar.
Think real hard.
Maybe you should try that arcade next door. She looks like the kind of girl you see there all the time.
So that's basically if Dector didn't buy the car, I guess.
You sell a black sedan a few days ago?
Black sedan? Hey, I got standards. If it ain't sporty, I got no room for it.
I've seen the registration. I know a woman bought it from you.
Oh, that sedan. Hey, look, a sexy blonde wants to pay top dollar for the ugliest car in the place. Who am I to say no?
Did you know who she was?
No, but I'd like to know her in the biblical sense, if you catch what I'm saying. Look, Ray, it ain't a crime for me to make a living.
Yeah, I just wanted to play that biblical sense line for you again. That's why I had that save game ready for you. Okay. Now, the other thing I didn't show you is what happens if you if you have a drink
I
with
didn't know
Early
it was
Q.
on the disc, but the way Early had hidden it, it was bound to be dirty laundry.
How you doing, General? You got a warrant to show me? You just breaking and entering?
What's on the disc, Early?
Hey, I don't hassle you about your private life. Put it down, McCoy.
Must be something pretty juicy. Your girls know about the cameras?
I got you. You want to trade. The disc for... what?
Let's hear what you got.
What do you say you and I have a drink first,
So yeah, you can just have a drink with Early Q.
Well, it's your lucky day, McCoy. You're in the Garden of Earthly Delight. See, I bet we can find something to whet your wick.
Not interested.
Gross.
Well, everyone's interested.
I want information.
You can have whatever your little heart desires, General. Jeez Louise, McCoy, you look awful. I'll take the disc. Thanks. Don't worry about a thing, General. Old Early's gonna sit you right up.
So I don't even want to know what happened to McCoy while he was drugged. Okay, so we never saw that before, so that's kind of interesting. Alright, we did that. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is I once watched a walkthrough of the game, Let's Play of the game, and someone did not realize that you have to go to McCoy's apartment in order to complete Act 4. But there's a hint that you need to do something, and it's very simple. This is Act 4 before I've gone to McCoy's apartment and met the guy in McCoy's apartment. If you try to go to where the bum is, there's just going to be a bunch of cops there. You can't shoot them. All you can do is run away from them. Like, they will just kill you. Like, you can shoot them 1,000,000 times. Doesn't matter. They'll just kill you. They never die. They got bulletproof vests. They're immune. So that is how the game tells you that you absolutely must go to McCoy's apartment and also to Izzo's basement, because you have to go to both Izzo's basement and McCoy's apartment to complete the act. Here's another line from from Crazy Legs.
This the woman that was in here?
It doesn't do her any justice, let me tell you.
But she's the one.
Uh-huh. I'd never forget her.
So yeah, that is just McCoy showing the Dectora photo, and since we have a photo of Dectora, she should appear in here, but you see, of course this picture doesn't do her any justice. Like, you can't see anything. Oh, here is a line that I got from Mama Isabella, and I have no idea what all I did to get it, but it's kind of interesting.
How many delivery men you got working here?
2, sometimes 3 on the busy nights.
Any Rastafarians?
Usual 2 riders. They Chinese. 3rd guy part-timer. He Moroccan, I think.
A big guy with dreadlocks?
Oh, no. Shaved head, real sharp.
Thanks.
Okay, so that's just McCoy following up on some evidence. It's not particularly interesting, but it's something we never saw before. Alright, the other thing I wanted to show you is if we draw our gun on Bullet Bob...
Hey, put that away!
I'm gonna put something away, but it ain't gonna be my gun.
Little boys shouldn't play with guns.
I don't think I showed you this before, but I did show you that you can draw your gun on him, but he has different dialogue after you draw your gun on him.
You.
Is that right?
You ain't done much.
I just got assigned.
Guys like you get hurt real easy.
Meaning what, exactly?
It ain't like you're a real Blade Runner. Not like Steel or Gaff.
They get hurt sometimes, too. It's a dangerous business.
So you just get that interesting line of dialogue from Bullet Bob. And we didn't hear that before, so I thought I'd play it for you. The other thing is, if we ask Howie... I always got Zubin to go back into the back room before talking to Howie, but if you talk to Howie first...
Beautiful night, isn't it?
When business thriving, night always beautiful.
We will get a slightly different conversation.
This girl ever eat around here?
Nah, All gaijin look like the old man. Zubin, onna mimashita? You seen girl?
I don't know her.
Yeah, so you just get that line
Dynamite
there
dining, old man. Catch you later.
where Howie asks Zubin about the girl, which I'd actually never seen that before doing this series. So this is to show you what happens if you try to visit the Tyrell Pyramid after you've already been there and you have no reason to go there.
You got an appointment this time?
Nope.
So why you here?
It's just kind of funny how that guy's like, so why you here?
So, anyone else explode around here lately?
I eat any more of that cafeteria food, my stomach's liable to. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, sir.
You gonna throw me out?
If need be.
You can't go up and investigate the crime scene anymore or anything like that. So, but there's some kind of funny lines there. Oh, and I forgot to show you this. I never showed you this. But if we let Zubin go, we can get some funny stuff.
Relax. Nobody's gonna get retired, okay?
Suck on this, skin job.
So you can shoot at Zubin. I don't think you can retire him. Maybe you can if you could get enough shots in time. But McCoy just has that really mean line to say. And then...
One more thing.
I've told you everything I know, Detective. I gotta work. These monitors don't watch themselves.
Yeah, it's a tough gig.
For some reason, I guess I wanted to show you that McCoy will say one more thing to this guy once you exhaust all his dialogue options. I just wanted to show you, Gordo is at the moon bus. I guess I've never shown you Zubin at the moon bus, but anyone that's a replicant and survives will be at the moon bus. So we can try retiring them all. It's probably best to get Sadiq first. Man, Gordo was feisty there. Alright, and that pretty much sums up everything I wanted to show you about the game. I mean, there are some things I haven't shown you yet. There's a few conversations I haven't shown you. I don't think I've shown you everything that you can talk to Gregorian about. I haven't shown all the Voight Kampf questions and answers. For sure, maybe at some point in my life, I will cover the Voight Kampf test more thoroughly. But that's going to be it for this series. And I really want to thank anyone that's actually watched this entire series. I mean, I want to thank everyone that watched this episode, but anyone that's watched the whole series, just really want to thank you for listening to what I had to say. I hope you found it interesting. As always, like, if there's anything that you're curious about the game or that I missed, just post a comment about it. Post your comments about your thoughts of the game. And this isn't going to be the end of Blade Runner for me this year. This is 2019. It is the year of Blade Runner. So I am going to be not necessarily following up this series, but I am going to be doing additional videos about Blade Runner. Up soon, I'm probably going to do an episode of my favorite games about this game, where I'm going to be talking more personally about the game, less of a guide / commentary, and more of like my personal experience with the game, more of a review of the game type thing. I'm also going to be doing 2 episodes of my favorite movies about Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049, and I'm probably also going to be doing an episode of my favorite books about Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. That might be significantly later in the year because I'll have to reread the novel before I do that. And also the novel takes place in 2020, so maybe it's okay for me to not even do that episode till next year. No, I'll probably do it this year. But coming up for me next is actually going to be another comedy video. I'm doing an Easter special that'll be posted on Saturday. It's already ready to go, but I'm posting it for Easter. And like I said, I really just want to thank anyone that came to my channel to watch this. Really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope maybe you learned something about the game that you didn't know about before, or if you've never played the game before, that you realize how awesome of a game it is. And so, thanks for watching, and I will talk at you later. I guess we can finish this out by getting probably one of my favorite endings of the game, and that is talking to Clovis and letting him die.
They're all dead. You're the last one.
I wish I could just leave. Just power up this ship and fly away. But there's nowhere else to go. And no more time.
You want me to feel sorry for you?
And what about you, Ray McCoy? After what you did to my family, to my friends, do you not also seek forgiveness?
I don't need to.
I thought I could cheat my destiny. I should have cherished what little time I had instead of wasting even one precious minute on revenge. My hands are labored day and night, and ease comes never in my sight. My wife has no indulgence given except what comes to her from heaven. We eat little, we drink less. This earth breeds not our happiness. Another sun feeds our life streams. We are not warmed with thy beams. Thou measurest not the time to me, nor yet the space that I do see. My mind is not with thy light arrayed. Thy terrors shall not make me afraid.
I see Steele didn't make it.
I could have used you about 10 minutes ago.
You didn't need any help, McCoy. Chief Bryant wants to talk to you. He says you're really ready now.
It never ends, does it?
You're a real Blade Runner now. Full retirement bonuses and everything. You've done a man's job, sir.
How come I don't feel good about it?
Who knows? Buy yourself another animal, maybe. A real one, not a Tyrell fake.
She wasn't fake.
Whatever you want to believe, McCoy.